He had only blinked once before the explosion swallowed the world in dust and fire. 1 second, Private Aaron Hawley had been securing the outer perimeter near the desert ridge, and the next, his radio screamed static and his squad vanished into flame. He tried to shout for command, but the air left his lungs like a punch to the chest. He remembered heat, a flash of violet light, and then nothing but darkness. He expected death, or maybe endless silence, but what he found instead was a strange warmth around his hands. Aaron's eyes flickered open, but he didn't recognize the tent around him. It wasn't Earth-standard military. The walls glowed faintly, made of some mesh that shimmered under golden light. His body was laid on a soft cot, unfamiliar sheets tucked around him, and there was the scent of lavender and something sweet in the air. Then he saw her. A blue-skinned woman in a nurse's uniform sat beside him. Her skin was like polished sapphire, glowing under the soft light. Her hair was snow white, braided neatly over her shoulder. She was looking at him gently, her soft pink lips forming a small smile. Her eyes sparkled like stars, and as he tried to speak, she placed a glowing hand gently on his chest. "You're fine now," she said in perfect English, her voice smooth. Like water, Aaron blinked again, stunned. His last memory was screaming in fire. Now he was lying in what looked like an alien hospital, being treated by a nurse who looked like something out of a dream. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but his throat was dry and his mind spun with confusion. She held up a small tube of water and helped him drink. It tasted cool, but unlike anything Earth made. He coughed, and she rubbed his shoulder softly. "You were badly hurt," she said. "But your body is stronger than we expected. It's impressive." Her gaze lingered on him like she was seeing something rare, something valuable. He could only nod, unsure of what was happening but drawn. Deeply into her calm presence, he scanned the room. There were others on beds like his, but they weren't all human. Some looked like tall reptiles, others had shimmering scales and 2 sets of arms. He was in a mixed recovery ward, clearly not on Earth. He swallowed hard, suddenly aware of how far from home he really was. "I need to speak to command," he said, his voice still hoarse. "My unit, my mission, what happened?" The nurse hesitated, her glowing fingers fidgeting with the edge of the blanket. "The war is not over," she said quietly. "But your people, they were caught in something bigger than they knew. You were lucky to survive the impact. We didn't mean for humans to be hurt." "Not at first." Aaron sat up, ignoring the pain in his ribs. "You're saying this wasn't just a normal battle? Are you with the enemy?" Her eyes met his again. But there was no hatred, only sorrow. "I'm not a soldier," she said. "I'm a healer. But yes, my people were involved. Not all of us agree with what's happening. Some of us still believe in peace. That's why I saved you." He felt a wave of nausea and confusion hit him like a storm. Saved by an alien nurse who belonged to the faction attacking his base. It didn't make sense. And yet, the way she looked at him like he mattered forced him to pause. "Why me?" he asked. "You could have left me to die. Why save the enemy?" Her fingers gently reached out and touched his hand. "Because not all enemies are evil," she said. "And not all wars are just. You were the only one still breathing when we arrived. The others," she stopped, unable to finish the sentence. Aaron's breath caught in his throat. His unit was gone. Every last one. He clenched his fists beneath the blanket, grief rising like a wave. She stood then, stepping back slightly, giving him space. Her expression remained soft but serious. "You're safe here for now," she said, "but you'll have to choose soon. Stay hidden and recover or return to the war, where your kind is hunted. Either way, your presence changes things. Many of my people will not be happy you're alive." Aaron looked up at the ceiling, his heart pounding. He was alive, healed, and trapped among aliens, one of whom had saved him. His war wasn't over. It was just beginning, Aaron didn't sleep. Much after learning his unit was gone. His mind raced with pain, anger, and the strange calmness of the nurse who had saved him. The tent around him was quiet, except for the soft breathing of other patients. Some looked human, others didn't, and a few seemed to be in deep comas. He sat up slowly, his body aching in every joint and bone. The nurse returned shortly after, carrying a glowing tablet. She checked a few things on the screen, then smiled at him. "Your body is adjusting well," she said. "The medicine is strong, but your human biology is responding faster than expected." Aaron stared at her hands. They looked soft and small, yet he knew they had pulled him from death. "What is this place?" he asked. "Where am I really?" The nurse paused, then walked to the edge of the tent. She pulled back the flap and gestured for him to come. Aaron stood, rapt, the thin sheet around himself, and followed. Outside was not Earth, not even close. The sky was green and streaked with purple clouds. Tall cliffs rose in the distance, and strange birds glided through the air. "This is a hidden medical station," she said. "Far from your war, we don't usually take in enemy soldiers. But something changed when we found you. You weren't just a soldier. You were still holding a fallen comrade, even after losing consciousness. That made some of us reconsider what we believed about your species." He stayed silent for a moment. The view was beautiful, but the weight in his chest only grew. "So I'm a test subject now? A prisoner?" The nurse turned, a bit of hurt in her eyes. "No," she said. "You're a guest. You can leave when you're ready. But I suggest you recover first. Your body is healing, but your heart is bleeding." They walked back inside, and she gave him a uniform that didn't belong to Earth forces. It was soft, flexible, and seemed to mold to his skin like water. He put it on with her help. Then she guided him to a mess area where beings of different shapes ate calmly. Some looked like reptiles, others like humanoid plants, and a few like floating jellyfish. All of them stared as he passed. He felt like a child lost in a crowd. The nurse introduced him as the human guest, and no one said a word. They simply nodded and returned to eating. Aaron sat with her at a small table near the wall. The food was bright and glowing, but surprisingly warm and tasty. She watched him closely as he ate. "My name is Lyrea," she finally said. "I was born on a planet called Naleria. My people were healers before we were soldiers. I never wanted to serve in a war. But I do what I can to save lives, not take them." Aaron studied her face. It was too kind for someone who lived in a war zone. Too calm for someone who saw death. Daily, he nodded slowly. "I'm Aaron Hale, Earthborn, infantry. I didn't expect to wake up alive, let alone be fed by a glowing blue alien who's prettier than any nurse back home." She blinked, then laughed softly. It was the first time he'd seen her drop her guard. The sound was warm, almost musical. "Careful," she teased. "Some of the warriors here are very jealous. You might cause a riot with words like that." They talked more over the meal. She explained that the war had reached hundreds of planets, but Earth had only just been pulled in by mistake. A misfired beacon, a wrong transmission, and suddenly her people believed humans were allied with their enemies. Now the Council wanted Earth classified as hostile. Aaron felt a chill run through him. Earth had no idea what it had walked into. His people weren't ready for this kind of war. He had seen one ship and nearly died. There were fleets out there, entire armies he'd never dreamed of. And now he was in the middle of it, being protected by someone from the other side. Lyrea reached across the table and gently touched his hand. "You're not alone anymore," she said. "Even if the galaxy thinks you're the enemy, I don't. You saved someone. That's enough for me." He looked into her glowing eyes and felt something shift in him. This place, this nurse, this war, everything was upside down. But for the first time since he woke up, he didn't feel completely lost. Aaron stood near the edge of the medical camp, staring out at the alien landscape that stretched beyond the cliffs. The sky shimmered with swirling purple streaks, and the winds carried scents that reminded him of mint and rain. But inside his chest, the unease remained. The war wasn't finished, and he didn't trust calm mornings like this one. Lereia stood beside him, her arms folded behind her back. She had changed into a different uniform, this one dark silver with a glowing emblem on her shoulder. "You've been cleared for movement," she said gently. "Your strength has returned, but you still haven't asked the real question. Why did we save you, really?" Aaron's jaw tensed. He had been trying not to think about it. It was too clean, too. Perfect. A mysterious alien nurse, a secret base far from Earth, and he was the only human here. "I figured it was mercy," he said. "Or maybe curiosity. You wanted to study me, learn how much damage a human can take." Lereia turned to face him, her eyes glowing softly in the morning light. "No, you were brought here on the order of someone higher. Someone who believes you're important. Not just because you lived, but because of what you carry." Aaron narrowed his eyes. "What I carry, I wasn't carrying anything. I had my rifle, my gear, nothing else." She touched the emblem on her chest, and it lit up, projecting a small hologram of Aaron's unconscious body. It floated beside them, slowly rotating. On his wrist was a metallic device he didn't recognize. "That's not standard issue," he said. "That's not mine." Lereia nodded slowly. "We thought the same. But this device activated only after your squad was destroyed. And when it did, it sent a signal that cut through 4 enemy jammers and disabled a targeting system." He stepped back, shocked. "Are you saying I triggered some kind of tech? That I broke enemy systems without doing anything?" Lereia closed the hologram and looked at him seriously. "We think the device recognized you, or your blood. Maybe it wasn't meant for anyone else. It doesn't respond to us, not even our scientists." Aaron felt cold sweat form on his back. "So now I'm not just a patient. I'm a weapon?" Lereia flinched at the word. "No, you are a possibility. Someone gave your people something they weren't supposed to have. We don't know if it was stolen, gifted, or lost. But it was buried in your gear, and now it's bonded with your biology." He looked down at his wrist, half expecting the metal to reappear. "I never noticed anything," he muttered. "I thought I was just a soldier doing my duty. I didn't know I was carrying alien tech." Lereia placed a hand on his arm, gentle but firm. "You didn't choose this. But now you must choose what to do with it." The tension in the air thickened as a figure approached from behind the tents. He was tall, armored in red and black, with a sharp face and eyes that glowed like flame. Lereia turned quickly. "Warden." "Varric," she said with a stiff nod. "You're early." The warden ignored her and looked directly at Aaron. "So this is the human," he said coldly. "The one who broke our defense web." "I expected something taller." Aaron stiffened, ready for a fight, but Lereia stepped between them. "He's under my care," she said. "He's not your prisoner." Varric tilted his head. "That depends on what he decides next." "We cannot hide him forever." Aaron crossed his arms. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "I'm not part of your games. I just want to go home." Varric laughed without humor. "You don't have a home anymore, human. Your planet has been marked. The Council believes Earth is harboring forbidden technology. War will follow. And you, whether you like it or not, are the reason." Silence followed his words like a punch. Lereia turned pale. Aaron's heart thudded painfully. He didn't ask for this, didn't even know the device existed. Now he was the excuse for another war, a pawn in something far greater than himself. He looked at Lereia, desperate for some answer in her soft glowing eyes, but she looked away, unable to meet his gaze. That was the moment he understood. He would never be a simple soldier again. Not after this. Aaron walked behind Warden Varric. In silence, Lyrea followed close, her eyes watching every movement. They were headed toward the far end of the camp, where the terrain sloped into a cave sealed with glowing metal. 2 guards in sleek black armor stood by the entrance, their faces hidden behind smooth visors. Aaron clenched his fists, unsure. What he was being led into, inside the temperature dropped. The hallway echoed with soft hums, and the walls pulsed with blue veins of energy. Varric walked ahead confidently, boots clicking against the floor. "You want to go home," he said. "But home is already preparing for battle. Earth received our warning. They've responded with silence and gunfire." Aaron frowned, unsure. What silence meant when bullets followed. They entered a chamber filled with floating screens. Each screen showed parts of Earth military bases, cities, orbital paths, and strange alien ships hovering in low orbit. Aaron's stomach turned. "You've been watching us," he said. "You've been surrounding us." Varric smiled slightly. "Observation is survival. Your people are unpredictable, powerful, and now awakened." A screen zoomed in on a single image. Aaron himself, unconscious on a battlefield, the strange device on his wrist glowing bright gold. "That moment," Varric said, "changed everything. Your DNA bonded with lost technology, ancient technology. Banned by our council long ago." Aaron stepped back. "So now I'm infected with something your kind fears?" Varric shook his head. "Not infected, chosen." Lyrea stepped forward. "That device wasn't meant to be found. It was from the old wars, long before your kind ever left your moon. It has no loyalty. It attaches to willpower, not rank." Varric continued. "And you, human, had the will to live through an explosion and still protect another. That act triggered it." Aaron looked down at his hands. "So now what? You parade me around? Study me, use me as bait?" Varric waved a hand, dismissing the thought. "No, we give you a choice. You can return to Earth in secret. We will fake your death, erase your records, and you disappear forever." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "What's the other option?" "The other option," Varric said, "is training. Full combat, language, history. You become one of us. Use what you now carry to change the war. But if you choose that, you cannot go back. Earth will believe you're dead. And eventually, you might even believe it too." Lyrea looked at Aaron gently. "We can help you. But only if you want it." The silence stretched as Aaron considered both roads. He thought of his family, his commander, and the oath he swore. As a soldier. But he also thought of Earth's helplessness, how they didn't even know what kind of enemy they were facing. Maybe he wasn't just surviving anymore. Maybe this was something else. "I want the truth," he said. "All of it. No more riddles. If I'm staying, I need to know everything you've kept from me." Varric stared at him, then nodded once. "Follow me." They walked deeper into the base until they reached a cold room lined with ancient metal doors. Each one was locked by glowing seals, each one marked with alien runes that shimmered when touched. One door opened with a hiss. Inside was a single chamber lit by a golden orb. At its center was a humanoid statue made of black crystal, arms raised, and the same bracelet Aaron had seen on himself. "This," Varric said, "was the first bearer. 10,000 cycles ago. The device chose him during the War of Silence. He ended that war by activating something even we still don't understand." Aaron stepped forward, staring into the statue's empty eyes. "You think I'm the next one," he whispered. Lyrea answered softly, "We don't think. We know. The device reacts to your heartbeat, your pain, your instincts. You've already unlocked Phase 1. There are 3 more." Varric stepped beside him. "You have 7 rotations to decide. After that, the Council will act. They won't wait for your answer forever." Aaron nodded slowly, heart pounding louder than before. He wasn't just a soldier anymore. He was part of something ancient and dangerous. And time was running out. Aaron stood alone in the dark training hall. Strange lights blinked around the walls as energy surged beneath the floor. His body was covered in a new type of armor, made from material that felt both weightless and solid. Lirea stood at the entrance, watching with concern as the orb embedded in his chest began to pulse brighter. For 3 days, he had trained under alien instructors. They didn't treat him as fragile. They pushed his strength, tested his reflexes, and challenged his instincts. Each night, he collapsed in exhaustion, and each morning the bracelet responded faster. It now moved with him, adjusting to his speed and blocking incoming attacks automatically. Today was different. Today they wanted to activate the next phase. No one knew what it would do. Not even Varric. Aaron flexed his fingers and took a deep breath. "I'm ready," he said quietly. Lirea nodded and stepped forward, placing her hand on his chest just above the device. "Let it feel you," she said. "Not just your strength. Let it feel your purpose." Aaron closed his eyes and focused. He remembered the burning battlefield, the screams of his squad, the silence that followed. Then he remembered Lirea's voice, the kindness in her eyes, the warmth in her hands. Something inside him shifted, and the bracelet flashed gold. The floor beneath him rippled with power. Suddenly, a wave of energy burst outward from his body. The room dimmed. Gravity seemed to twist around him. Lirea stepped back, shielding her face. The air shimmered as a tall figure appeared in front of him, formed from glowing light. It wasn't a person. It was a projection. A memory of the first bearer. The figure raised its arm and pointed directly at Aaron's chest. A symbol lit up. In the air between them, 3 interlocked rings with a flame in the center. Aaron's armor absorbed the light. The bracelet heated, and symbols etched themselves up his forearm like glowing tattoos. He gasped, but didn't fall. The light faded, and the figure vanished. Silence returned. Lirea rushed to him, scanning his pulse with her device. "You're still alive," she whispered. "The second phase has begun. You now control the field of pulse." Aaron blinked. "Pulse?" he asked. "What does that mean?" She pointed to the wall where metal training drones had been lined up earlier. Now they were melted, warped like soft clay. "It means your emotions shape the space around you. That burst wasn't just light. It was you, your memory, your rage, your hope." Before they could speak further, Warden Varric stormed into the room. "You did it," he said, eyes wide. "We felt it from the surface. That kind of energy hasn't been seen since the final war. You've awakened what the Council feared most." Aaron stepped forward, his legs shaky but firm. "Then they should stop fearing and start listening. I didn't ask for this power, but I won't run from it. Earth needs to know the truth. I need to speak to them." Varric narrowed his eyes. "You're not ready to return. You're too dangerous now. The Council will want to seal you, not hear you." Lirea stood between them. "We can't trap him. That will only make things worse. He's the first human to bond with our history. He's proof that peace is possible, but only if we let him speak." Varric sighed and folded his arms. "Then let him speak to the one who holds Earth's voice." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "What are you saying?" Varric pointed to a small corridor beyond the hall. "There's someone here who's been in contact with Earth. A prisoner. A survivor. Another human who came before you. We kept him secret. Until now." Aaron felt a chill spread down his spine. "Another human? How long has he been here?" Varric turned and began walking, long enough to forget his name. "But he remembers your planet. And he might remember how this all started." Lirea placed a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "Be careful. That man was broken. Not just in body, in soul. He might help you. Or he might destroy what little hope you found." Aaron gave a single nod. His path wasn't clear, but it was his. And it was no longer something he could walk away from. Asterisk. The corridor was colder than the rest of the base. Aaron followed Varric and Leia through the tight hall, their steps echoing against the smooth walls. Dim lights flickered above, casting long shadows that moved like ghosts. At the end of the hall was a thick metal door with no handle and no visible lock. Varric placed his hand against a scanner. The door opened with a hiss, revealing a room built like a cell. Inside sat a man with wild eyes and a long beard, his clothes ragged and his posture slouched. His skin was pale, but his eyes locked onto Aaron's face with a strange mixture of shock and fear. The man stood slowly. "No," he whispered. "Not another one. Not again." Aaron took a step forward, unsure how to react. "You're human," he said. "How long have you been here?" The man laughed bitterly. "Too long, long enough to forget my own voice. And now they bring me a copy, a shadow." Another soldier with stars in his eyes, Leia, stepped in. His name was Captain Owen Cross, Earth's first contact. He arrived during the first year of the Hidden War. The Council erased all records of his mission. Even Earth doesn't know he survived. Aaron turned toward the man. "Is that true? Are you really a captain from Earth?" Owen nodded slowly, his voice raw. "I was, before I was betrayed. Before they locked me in this place to rot." Varric folded his arms and leaned against the wall. "You were unstable. You attacked the research team. You tried to steal classified tech." Owen's eyes burned. "I tried to go home. You just didn't want the truth getting out." Aaron stepped closer. "Then help me. Tell me what you learned. Why are they so afraid of humans?" Owen sat down and stared at the floor. "Because we break things we don't understand. Because when we bond with their technology, we don't stop at understanding it, we change it. We become more than they ever planned for." Leia glanced at Aaron. "That's what you're doing too. The bracelet is adapting to you faster than expected. It's responding to human emotion in ways we've never seen." Owen looked up again. "They call it Forbidden's tech. But they don't fear the device. They fear the match. The connection. The reason it works on us." Aaron clenched his fists. "Then we have to warn Earth, before they come with fleets and destroy everything." Varric shook his head. "You won't make it in time. Earth is already considered compromised. The Council has activated cleansing protocols. A purge fleet will arrive in less than 2 cycles." Aaron's heart dropped. "They're going to wipe us out?" Owen stood again, strength returning to his posture. "Unless someone shows them why they're wrong. Unless someone stands before them and proves that this bond doesn't mean danger. It means evolution. It means hope." Leia touched Aaron's shoulder. "There's one place where you can speak. One place where even the Council must listen. The Hall of Memory. Only those who carry a living bond can enter. It's where the oldest agreements were made. Where peace once lived." Aaron nodded. "Then take me there. I'll go." Owen stepped forward and held out a small metal shard. "Take this. It's a piece of the first gate key. I smuggled it before they locked me away. With that, you'll be able to reach the hall. But be warned. If they sense what you've become, they may not let you leave." Varric frowned but said nothing. He knew the path ahead would be dangerous. Leia looked at both men, her voice steady. "We'll go together, all of us. One from the old world, one from the new. And one who still believes peace is possible." Aaron took the shard and looked at the strange lines engraved into its surface. It hummed softly in his hand. Something deep inside him recognized it, as if the bracelet on his wrist was whispering back to it. Something ancient. Something alive. He turned to Owen. "Thank you. I won't waste your gift." Owen smiled weakly. "Just promise me one thing. Don't let them make you forget who you are. Not like they did to me." Aaron placed the shard in a pouch on his belt. The moment had come. His time as a quiet soldier was over. Now he was walking towards something far bigger than he ever imagined. The ship they boarded was small and fast. Designed for stealth, it cut through the upper atmosphere like a blade. Aaron sat between Lyrea and Owen, his hand resting near the shard that pulsed quietly inside his pouch. The energy from the device on his wrist was stable, but he felt the weight of what was coming. They flew past shattered moons and gas clouds that sparkled with ancient wreckage. Owen watched silently, while Lyrea monitored their heading through a circular map of glowing stars. The Hall of Memory wasn't on any official charts. It had been hidden long ago, protected by sacred codes and living algorithms that only responded to certain bloodlines. Aaron's bracelet had opened the first path. The shard from Owen opened the second. Together, they unlocked coordinates the galaxy had buried beneath time. Aaron looked through the viewing glass and saw the destination approaching. It floated alone in space, a black sphere covered in glowing script. As the ship neared, the symbols changed to match Earth's alphabet. The ship landed on a platform made of obsidian stone. Silent towers rose around them, humming with energy. No guards, no weapons, only silence. As they stepped out, the bracelet on Aaron's wrist lit up again, responding to the strange pulse in the air. It was like the building recognized him. Owen walked with hesitation. Lyrea walked with pride. Aaron walked with fire in his chest. They passed beneath an archway where the light shifted into memories. Visions flickered in the air, ancient battles, lost treaties, forgotten races. It was not just a hall. It was a living record of everything the galaxy had once known. Inside, a circular platform waited. At its center floated a single chair surrounded by orbs. Aaron approached it slowly. The bracelet guided him, vibrating gently. When he reached the chair, the orbs lit up and a voice echoed through the hall. "Bearer of the living key, speak your truth. The council will now observe." Lyrea stepped back. Owen stood silently at her side. Aaron took a breath and sat. The orbs rose and projected his image across the chamber. He could feel the presence of minds far away watching, judging, waiting. He looked straight ahead, his voice steady. "I am Aaron Hale, human, soldier, survivor. I come not to beg, but to speak. I was chosen by something your laws have forgotten." He showed the bracelet and held up the shard. "This power was not stolen. It bonded to me in battle. In sacrifice, it did not care who I was. It cared only that I fought to protect others, that I lived not to destroy, but to save." The orbs pulsed in response. One turned red, one blue, one gold. The voice returned. "The council remembers the last bearer. He ended an age in fire. Do you intend the same?" Aaron shook his head. "No, I intend to break the cycle. You fear us because we're unpredictable. Because we love fiercely, fight brutally, and learn quickly. But those are not crimes. They are signs of growth, of change. Earth didn't ask for this war, but will fight if you force it. I ask you to see a different path." The chamber dimmed. The orbs stopped spinning. Silence wrapped around them like a storm. Lyrea gripped her hands tightly. Owen held his breath. Then a fourth orb appeared, white and bright, and spoke in a new voice. "You are not the first to speak such words, but you are the first to do so with truth in your blood." The orbs circled Aaron again. Then the bracelet on his wrist opened, like a flower, revealing a core of golden light. The shard in his pouch floated into the air and merged with it. A beam shot upward, striking the center of the chamber. The walls changed. The old records turned to new ones. Earth was now marked. As under review, Lyrea gasped. "You changed the code. You just bought Earth time." Owen smiled faintly. "No, he didn't just buy time. He changed how they see us." Aaron stood slowly, still glowing. The voice returned. Your plea has been heard. The fleet is delayed. The purge order suspended. Further observation required. Return now, bearer. And be warned. This is not the end. Aaron stepped away from the chair, the device now silent once more. But in his heart, he felt it. The war wasn't over. But hope had finally begun. The return to the hidden base was silent. Aaron sat near the viewport, watching the stars roll by as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Lyrea sat beside him, hands folded in her lap. Owen leaned against the wall, still worn from their journey, but no longer broken. The light from Aaron's bracelet had dimmed, but its warmth remained. He had stood before the unseen council and spoken not with fear, but with truth. Earth was no longer marked for destruction, but for study. It was a victory that few would ever know about. But it was enough to buy time. Enough to open a door that had been shut for centuries. A door that could lead to something more than war. When they landed, the base had changed. Soldiers who once stared at Aaron with suspicion now nodded in respect. Lyrea led him through the corridor with quiet pride. Even Varric met them with a stiff nod, his tone no longer sharp. The council has confirmed your words were heard. Earth is safe for now. But make no mistake, they will watch you closer than ever before. Aaron looked around at the beings, walking the halls, different species with different pasts, bound together by fear, pride, and the hope of survival. He wasn't just a soldier now. He was a voice in a storm. A human who had changed something far greater than himself. He turned to Owen. You coming with us? Owen shook his head. I've had my time, Owen said. Let me stay here and finish what I started. Someone needs to make sure they don't twist your message into a weapon. Aaron nodded, understanding the weight in Owen's words. He reached out and clasped the man's hand firmly. Thank you. For everything. You didn't give up, even when they buried you. That means something. They left Owen behind and returned to Lyrea's quarters, a quiet space filled with soft light and humming energy walls. Aaron sat on the edge of the bed while Lyrea prepared a tea made from glowing petals. She handed him the cup and sat across from him. Her eyes shimmered in the low light, reflecting more than just the stars outside. I didn't expect any of this, Aaron said. Not the war, not the device, not you. Lyrea smiled faintly. Neither did I, but you changed everything, Aaron. Not just for Earth, for us too. He sipped the tea and looked at her closely. What happens now? Am I a soldier, a symbol? A problem to be solved? She reached across and took his hand. You are what you choose to be. The device may rest, but its memory lives inside you, and so does its power. You can return to Earth, or you can stay here and help build what comes next. Aaron's heart beat faster, not from fear, but from the weight of choice. A real choice at last. He stood and looked out the window. Earth was far, but not forgotten. He thought of the cities, the people, the oceans he missed. But he also saw Lyrea's reflection beside his, calm, strong, beautiful, and waiting. If I return, they'll never believe what I saw. If I stay, I may never see home again. Lyrea came to his side. Then do both. Speak for Earth from here. Be their bridge. Help them understand this galaxy before it fears them again. I'll stand with you, not as a nurse, not as a guide, as someone who believes in you. Aaron turned, eyes steady. Then let's build something better. Together. Months passed. Then years. Aaron did not return to Earth, but his voice reached it through carefully guided messages. He became the first human ambassador accepted by the outer worlds, a symbol of change, a fighter of peace. And beside him always stood Lyrea, her hand in his, her voice calm and proud. The galaxy did not forget its wars, but it remembered the human who stood before judgment and refused to kneel. The bracelet remained silent, never reactivating. But its glow never faded from Aaron's wrist, a reminder of who he had been and what he had become. He was no longer just the man who woke up in an alien tent with broken bones and a healing touch. He was the human who survived death, spoke for his world, and fell in love with the one who first whispered, "You're fine."